Actors, we've all got issues, so let's talk about them. I'm your host, Juan Ayala, and this is Actors with Issues. In today's bite-sized interview, we speak with Eugenio Derbez, producer and star of the new Spanish-language film Radical, in theaters November 3rd. Alrighty, Eugenio, un placer. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. I just want to say this film was so impactful for me. It's such a reality for so many kids across Latin America who, have to be little adults. As soon as they're out the room, taking care of their siblings, making sure mom and dad are okay. It's exactly what my own parents and my tios and tias went through in El Salvador. So what was it about this true story of this radical teacher in Matamoros, Mexico that inspired you to make this movie?
Well, exactly what you're saying. This is not a story about Mexico. This is a story about Latin America in general, about a lot of countries in the world are facing problems with their education system, and I feel like it's their responsibility to tell a story like this one. I remember that when they offered us the rights to make a movie with this real story, because it's based on a true story, based in the story of Paloma and Sergio, I wanted to do this movie because I wanted to make a change. I wanted to people to know that they can make a change when they really want, when they have passion, when they have hope, inspiration, and that's why we made this movie to try to make changes in the system, and again, not just in Mexico but in all Latin America.
You spoke about sort of securing the rights to the story to be able to make this film. So how did that process come about, and your involvement with the writer and director Christopher Zala?
We met Chris Sala in 2007 in the Sundance Film Festival in another movie called Sangre de mi Sangre, and that movie won the 2007 Sundance Film Festival. And then after that, Chris Sala retired, and he went to Guatemala, and he was living in Guatemala when we finally reached him again, because we thought that he had the sensibility to direct this movie. And immediately he connected, because in Guatemala they have this, exactly as you said, in all Latin America they have the same kind of problems with education. So he said, I love the story, let me write the script. And immediately he wrote the script, and he delivered an amazing script. That is the one that you saw. And I think he was the right choice to direct this movie.
And, it reminded me so much of these movies I watched a lot growing up, like Stand and Deliver and Lean on Me, of these inspirational figures for these groups of underserved communities. So I'm curious, were there any teachers or mentors that you had growing up that had that impact on you?
Yeah, absolutely. Many. Well, I had one when I was in high school. It was a law teacher, and he was really tough. But at the same time, even though he was like very tough and demanding, he was very, very funny. And I feel that when someone teaches you with humor and passion, you immediately get engaged. And we all were engaged. Anyone wanted to skip his class because he was very funny. It was like a kind of like a stand-up session. And then I realized that he was demanding because he cared about us. And at the beginning, you complain when your teacher is demanding and it's tough with you, but I feel that when they care, they're like that. And I understood that when I was an adult, and now I'm reconnected with him after many, many years. And because of this movie, I could reconnect with him after many, many years.
And, many of our listeners are young actors and artists. And for those who are just starting out in the entertainment industry, who are looking to pursue a career, whether it's an actor, director, producer, what advice do you have for them?
Look, I've changed my life and my career when I stopped asking for a job. I always was knocking at the door, asking for a job, but there are so many people doing the same thing. There's a lot of competition out there. And I realized that the only way of changing the system was creating my own opportunities. So I started producing my own stuff and writing my own stuff. How a lot of people always tell me, well, I'm not a writer. What should I do? Well, work as a waiter, work as wash cars, do whatever you want. And then you, with that money, go and hire a writer and then produce your own stuff. Things that get you passionate. When you are passionate about something, you will create an amazing story. And then that's the thing that changed my life. The minute I stopped knocking at the doors to ask for a job, and instead I started developing my own projects. Life changed.
In the many interviews I've done, we've always sort of talked about how every project, every role is a learning opportunity, no matter where one is in their career. So for you, during the process of making Radical, what would you say you learned during that process?
Well, many things. First of all, I was out of my comfort zone because I do comedy, and this time I was a little bit scared of this drama, especially because I'm portraying a real human being. It was not a fictional character, and that was a little bit scary to me. And then the director asked me to not to hide beneath a hairdo or glasses or an accent or anything. He wanted everything to come from the inside. So I was really, really scared about it. Honestly, one day before shooting, I was literally very, very scared. And then I remembered who I was, and I said, you need to trust your instincts and trust yourself in the process. And I just went internally, and usually because I'm a comedian, everything was like superficial. And the minute I started looking inside of myself and remembering all the things that inspired me when I was a kid, everything changed, and I learned to have more faith in myself and to trust my instincts.
And for anyone who is going to be seeing this film in theaters, it does come out November 3rd. For everyone who's listening, what do you want folks to take away from this viewing experience?
I want them to first of all to see this amazing true story of this sixth grade teacher, Sergio Juarez, whose unconventional teaching methods changed the lives of his students. But most of all, they're going to have fun, and they're going to see this real life story that I'm sure it's going to change the way they see education around the world, and especially that when you have passion for something, you can change the world. Sometimes you just complain about your environment, that you don't have this, you don't have that. I was born without this, I was born without that. That's why I'm not reaching my goals. And this story will make you realize that you can change your world with some passion, with some humor, and a lot of hope.
Well, Eugenio, that is all the questions we had for today. So thank you so much again for taking the time for this incredible movie. I cannot wait for audiences to see it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you, Juan. Thank you very much.
All right, take care. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to subscribe to Actors with Issues on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts, and visit our YouTube channel for full video interviews. Actors with Issues is executive produced and hosted by Juan Ayala. See you next time.